Hello and welcome to part 173 of the game engine coding live stream. This is part 96 of the GUI, still doing the ImGUI Doomstar FPS counter. We are getting near the end of that. So one second, let me grab my laptop so I can actually see comments. But what we got, the project, the sysinfo project integrated last time. So now we can actually, no, this is Vulkan. Let me close this down. So we're going to actually put that into some sort of different class for like an FPS kind of count, I think. So let me, okay, I'll see the comments on here. Let me open up Visual Studio. Okay, so that's the one. Okay, so let's launch this up now. So now that we've got all of this here, so what we want to do, essentially this is all the data that we want in some sort of FPS counter thing. Let me see what debug is looking like at the moment, because I might just whack it into debug. There's the solution explorer. Let me snap it there. Debug. I could whack it in there. It's not a crazy amount of code, to be fair. For now, I'll put it in here actually. Okay, so what we'll do is in game CPP, we need an instance of this in debug. So we're gonna need to put that like here. This info. Okay, so let's give it a comment while we're here. System information object for getting, well, system information. Okay, so what we're gonna do is also whack this there, but we're not gonna have the equals on it. In the debug CPP, we'll have if it's enabled, then we'll, let's say, load that up as well. Okay, so for now that's how we've got it. And obviously once we essentially have that, okay, so let me comment this out. We also want these 3 pieces of data as well, which technically are going to be new every single time. We got, where was frames created? Can't even see where I created that. Oh, I was in the debug class then. I think realistically that should just be in debug. And what I'm gonna do, instead of doing a function call, I'll do a function call, why not? And I'll actually pass in all this new data. So what we'll say is void update frame data, and we're gonna take in a, obviously this will be a float, a const float, const float frame FPS, the const float frame time, and a const unsigned long int. Actually no, I don't need that. Automatically, technically that's just gonna get updated, so I could get rid of that. That's, yeah, that's technically just automatically gonna get updated, so I don't per se need that. Actually, I don't even need that, because if I've got frame time I can work out the rest of it. So all I need is frame time. So if I create implementation, I'm going to create a struct frame data, and we're going to have a float FPS, float frame time, float, nope, unsigned long int total frames. Okay, so we're gonna have an instance of this, so we're gonna say frame data update frame data, and we'll grab this, put it into here, and we'll just say, okay, so the first thing I'm going to update is frame data dot FPS equals 1.0f divided by frame time. Boom, done. Next is frame data dot frame time equals frame time on by 1000, so that's in milliseconds. Stored, calculated, and stored in milliseconds. And finally, for the other one, that's a lot simpler. All we gotta do is say frame data dot total frame plus plus, and by default we'll initialize it. We'll literally say Now another one, void and a void. So at the moment we don't have a way of getting hold of this. Let's create a return thing for the frame data and system information, and say const system information reference to get system information const frame data get frame data. Okay, so let's comment these. Parameter no return type, so update the frame data. Okay, so while I'm actually also here, let me do data debug dot update frame data, frame time, time between frames. I do have some stuff downloading. Could be that, but I should have turned the got nothing uploading. There we go. Okay, so system information. Actually, I don't even need this anymore. By default, that's equals 0. And in debug, I'll get rid of this. Frame data. Frame data. Frame rate data. Okay. Just make sure this is working still, and if it is, we'll look at drawing this out. So I remember her was telling me in Siva Naga Nidgubala, I'm sure I said that name correctly, says hello. Hello to you too. How are you doing? PCH as well. Let's have a look at that. Gonna just take a little while it loads the system information up. It's not an issue. Okay, so that's loaded up. So we wanted to. They told me which one was it. Simple overlay. Yeah, simple overlay. That's what we would actually want. The overlay. Let me. So it'll be the example. See if he's got an example in here. Okay. See what happens if I just grab that and I'll put that here. If I was to just put it here, for example, starts will just give me any errors. And so far so good. Is good. And if I was to run that, show example simple overlay. Man, it wants to cheat. For now, I'll just comment this out because that's making stuff take way too long to load up. Tan says hi Sonar. Hello, how are you? Umar Hamid says anyone teaching Dart. Yeah, I've got some Dart videos. You're more than welcome to check them out. Okay, so that still took a piss to load up. Okay, so we got back to where it was. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Slowly getting there. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so that is also fine. That is also fine. I meant to put it over here, possibly. So it is to do with the begin. Yeah. Right there. That should be alright there. Still probably gonna crash. Okay, so that's a better error now. Okay, so we're getting there. Ultra says, hey Ultra, how are you? And okay, so that's looking good, it's looking good. So now, we're getting there, we are definitely getting there indeed. Okay. If I just get rid of that. Good. What was the issue? The issue was, oh, there's a couple of issues. One second, let me fix this. Ah. No. Don't see what that would work. Okay, yeah, there was a. Give me one more issue. No. Okay, so there's a couple of issues. One of the issues was down here when we was drawing it. I was meant to put it after the draw, but before the ImGUI render. Originally I had it up here, then I put it down here, then I put it back there. That started working, but as a result of trying to fix that, I'd commented at the end. Then he gave me the error of there is a start, but there isn't a corresponding end. There's some sort of mismatch. Well, as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, that's an easy fix. The other one was a bit longer, more, you know, it was a lot harder to figure out, but this one was a lot easier. So that's that fix now. I'm going to move this over to the debug class now. And I'll put it down here. And what I'm also going to do is get rid of the fact that it's a static and just do it like so. Okay, so we're all good so far. And what we're also going to do is, I'll leave that there for now, to be fair. And to call this, we're gonna have to say underscore data debug. Okay, so if that still works, that's great. And then we can modify this, change the name, change a couple of other things about it as well, and then continue and actually start putting the data in, like the frame rate data. Okay, so we're getting a bit of an error here. Ooh. It does not like that. If we only get that error, then that's looking good. Now I'm still getting the error. There must be something else maybe in here that it's because of the static int there. I don't see why that would actually mess things up, but let me have a look. Let me make that into regular. Do have some static methods in here, so could make it a static if need be. It's not really the end of the world per se. You know, there's got something in there that's just messing it up. It still doesn't like it. I know what it is now. Okay, so we got that there. That's fine, the close won't work per se. Because I know why the close isn't working. That's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. What I'm gonna do now, I guess, is start modifying all this up. See what's already there. Let's have a look again. So we got simple overlay in the right corner, blah blah blah, then a little line separator, then mouse position. So let's format it like the Doom one. So let's get FPS at start, FPS. So we'll literally say text. So all we're gonna say is FPS. We should just be able to format it %i, comma, frame data dot FPS. It should be constantly the latest frame rate as well then. That don't look right to me. It's not an error, but I just want the color error. Frame data. Can you print out all that? Don't think you can. You'll give me an error, won't it? Yeah, it always does. Dot. I think there's a function on ImGUI to get FPS. Is there? That seems more like it. That does. That seems to be going into the negatives now and again, which should not be possible. Is that ever going? So I don't see what. I think we may be updating it too much. We have a look if there is. Oh. I mean, I don't even know where I would start with this. Get frame count. Oh, I guess that would be it. See what happens there. That's frame count. Yeah, that's obviously nice and in line. Obviously we don't need to calculate it ourselves, I guess now. That's frame count. GUI. You think get io.frame rate? Oh, okay, let's try that. Don't know why I deleted that. No. Get io dot frame rate. Is producing effectively what I was getting before, so if I go to, if I put it here, no, how do I format it? do a formatting like this. Do I put a number here? Can't remember. No, I just noticed a couple of things. For starters, this needs to be underscore. Let's give this a go. See what we get. That's really all I need, just this much. Okay, so the first one is SFML, in ImGUI, but it did say that it was an average of the last 12 frames. Okay. Yeah, see, that's hard to tell because if they're doing an average of the last 12 frames, which again, not a bad method of doing it. It does prevent these crazy, ridiculous spikes in there. But still. Oh, is that why it is? Because I did %I instead of %F. Yep, there we go. So we got the frame rate printing now. So we'll keep it at %I and we'll just cast this bad boy. Let's put a lot better that is now. Okie dokie, so that's looking quite nice. And what's the next one that they've got on there? They got that'll be the frame time in milliseconds. Do the frame time. Actually, you know what? What I'm going to do is compare it to my one. See what my one looks like compared to this one. Okay, so what's the name of this extension you are using? One second. Would we want to average it out or not? No, I'll keep this commented out. Let's put frame time in here. .2f. Visual Studio 1. Please make a tutorial iframe better video recorder. Okay. I do want to do some more of that type of stuff, definitely. was I gonna do? Started I want to print the to do. Okay, we're getting pretty close to it. Don't really have any of these. We'll have a look at these if we can get them. If not, that's fine. Might be able to get it from ImGUI, to be fair. And we're also gonna put in the choose. Colors, background, text. Okay, yeah, you was asking what's the name of the extension you are using in Visual Studio. Are you, I don't know, are you talking about ImGUI? Or are you talking about my own, or are you talking about the way it's highlighted? Because that's Visual Assist, the VAssist X. So does ImGUI, which is a coding, you know, which is a framework that allows you to do GUI based stuff. Then there's obviously the game engine which we're making. Then there's the sysinfo plugin, which again, that's our own library that we created, but that's separate to the project. And there's a, you know, a project there. Again, I don't know which one you're specifically referring to, but I'm going to wrap up now. I'm going to give it a build, make sure it's all good, and give it a commit. So SGA, should have a whole heap of stuff now. Let's say FPS counter getting there slowly, and this should give me an error because it's saying that file's too big. I'll just delete that one file. I'm gonna need to close that down anyway. I'm positive I won't be able to delete it otherwise. Project XYZ platform Windows. Okay, now let me delete it. Let me commit that and let me update this. Tomorrow will be 174.97. We're almost on part 100 just for the GUI section. I remember when I started the GUI stuff, that seemed like such a long time ago now, to be fair. Almost done, and then like I said, we'll wrap up. And obviously, as usual, you can join the Discord group and just, you know, mingle in there, ask questions in there. Like I said, I'm gonna wrap up now, make some mashed potato and pizza, chill, watch a movie, watch There Will Be Blood. Seen it before, love the movie. I'm gonna introduce you to my wife. Is it possible to someone to put .exe on GitHub? For what? As in for this, or you mean in general? In general, yeah, you can. I mean, I don't know if there are any limitations of what you can upload. I know there's certain file size limitations which you can get around with. I think what Git LFS, I think that's what it's called. I've got that installed and implemented for certain larger files more than 100 meg, and you just have to set it for like a folder, for example. But if you're just saying, can you have an exe? Yeah, because I've just committed my project. The exe is there. Obviously, it really doesn't really do anything, but it's there. If that's what you're asking, can you put exe on a GitHub repository? Yeah. So that is it. Thank you for watching, and I will see everyone tomorrow. Goodbye and good night. Have a good weekend. Okay, you say if I want to share my project with codes, yeah, we can put it in there. Obviously, you know, maybe put it into some sort of bin folder or some sort of executable folder. But there's no restriction on putting an exe on. Again, there's size restriction, but that's just in general for any file. And you can get around that with Git LFS if you look into that. And yeah, you can put in exe. I've never had an issue putting an exe on, or even any file for that matter, from what I can remember. It's been almost a decade of using GitHub and Git in general. So yeah, no real reason why not.